The Third Symphony by Brahms is the least played of his four symphonies, which is not easily understandable, because in many's opinion it's the finest. And it was certainly the symphony that had the most success in Brahms' lifetime. When it was first performed in Vienna, 1883, it was an enormous triumph for Brahms. One reason why it's not so often performed is that it ends pianissimo. And not only the last movement, the end of the symphony ends in pianissimo that is very soft. No triumph, no big spectacular building up. But also the other movements, they all end in pianissimo. The first movement ends in pianissimo, second movement ends in pianissimo, third movement also, and the fourth movement. I had a wonderful colleague in Hamburg who had a wonderful sense of humor, by the way. His name was Hans Schmidt-Isserstedt. He was the founder of the NDR Symphony Orchestra, one of the finest radio orchestras in Germany. And he was a good friend of mine. He said with his special kind of humor, "Kann man gar nicht spielen, schließt pianissimo." Meaning, it's impossible to perform it. It ends pianissimo. The public will not like it. There will be no applause. Because the public likes, emotion and yes. So there's nothing of that in the Third Symphony. It's resignation, It's not a tragic symphony. All movements don't end in tragedy. So it's not because of that it's soft. It's just after perhaps very dramatic movement, like the first movement, the last movement is very dramatic, full of power and almost anger and fighting. It's an heroic symphony. It is Brahms' Eroica. Like the Third Symphony of Beethoven is his Eroica, so the Third Symphony of Brahms is his. But at the end of each movement, it falls down into a sort of autumnal colors, with these beautiful red skies and everything is peaceful, extremely beautiful. I must say, I especially like this symphony. And I think you will like it also, who come to the Concertgebouw perhaps even for the first time. It's extremely beautiful. It's also his shortest symphony, by the way. Not by many minutes, but it's really his shortest symphony. About 35, 36, 37 minutes. The others last 40, 45, up to 50 minutes. So it's very taut, very closely knit. There's not one note too much. It's just what is needed to create a beautiful impression. It's also very ambiguous sometimes. This is typical Brahms. Art really depends very much on this ambiguity. If everybody understands everything at the first hearing, it's possibly not a very good piece. But when it's full of meaning, different meanings on different levels, it gets very interesting. It's like the Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci. What makes it such a famous painting? It's not only that it's so beautiful, it's because it's so ambiguous. It's so enigmatic. Why does she smile like that? Is she happy? Is she a little bit sad? At the same time, one never knows. You can interpret it many different ways. So it was this symphony. It starts in F major, big chord, tom, but already the next chord, you are in doubt. Is it very happy music? It comes in with an A flat, and then the third bar is really again happy music. But next bar is again minor. So so you are torn between different possibilities. This is very exciting, very exciting. And the more you understand of it, the more exciting it is. It's also incredibly beautiful. Listen to the second theme in the first movement, for instance. The clarinet and the bassoon plays la da dee da dee da da dee dum dee da dee da dee da da dee dee da dee da da dee da dee da da dee da dee da dee da dee da dee 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 da dee dee. This is typically Brahms' art. The second movement is just sheer bliss. The third movement is a very short movement, perhaps 4 or 5 minutes only. So you don't have a chance to get bored there. The melody is so beautiful. La di 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 da dum, di da da, li da dum, la da di da da da, di do do, di da da di. Played by the horn, then by the oboe, then by the strings. You hear it 6 times, this melody, in different shapes and different melodies. It doesn't let you loose. When you go home, it rings in your mind. Wonderful, a little bit melancholic. That's typical Brahms also. Brahms was born in Hamburg, but he lived most of his life in Vienna. He has a northern spirit, but the love of the southern loveliness and openness. And he said himself that he was never completely happy. There was always some disturbance in his mind, some feeling of tragedy also. Typical melancholic persons. I think many musicians are melancholic by temperament. They can be very happy, but they're always some serious overtones to their happiness. And when they are very sad, there's also some joy at the bottom of it. And there's a wonderful mixture. Last movement is full of energy, very heroic. But it starts soft again. Very mysterious. But very soon his fighting spirit, so it's full of contrasts. And after he's fighting this out in a heroic fashion, it falls down into this wonderful autumnal resignation in F major again. It's a wonderful, wonderful, peaceful ending. You feel at home in the whole world again.